Hello, my crafty friends. Well, today I have a very simple gift box idea that I want to share with you. It's a great way to package up your handmade cards so that you can give them as a gift. Hi, it's Lynn Dunn from Stamptastic Designs. Thanks so much for joining me today. In this episode of Stamptastic TV, I have a very simple gift box idea that I want to share with you. Now, this gift box can be decorated in any way that you want. So you can decorate it to coordinate with the cards that you want to give as a gift. Okay, so first let me show you what's inside the gift box. So I'm basically just using a little cellophane bag and a little bit of washi tape here just to hold my bag closed. But this little gift box idea can fit anywhere from 4 to 6 cards. It just depends on, how many layers are on each of your cards. Plus, it does also hold the envelopes for the cards. So this is what it looks like. So I'm just going to take all of these out of here. These are all the envelopes. And this is what your box looks like. So it has a fun little flap on the front that you can decorate to coordinate with the cards that you are going to be gifting. So I typically just put my envelopes in the bottom of the box. If you are creating envelopes which coordinate with your cards, then you can certainly layer your envelopes and cards together. But all of these cards simply just fit right inside the box. So I just kind of put them all together and then just slide them in underneath this little flap here. So it's really just a fun way to package up your handmade cards. I love to give handmade cards as a gift. So I will do this every Christmas, and since the holidays are coming up, I thought it would be the perfect time to show you this gift box idea so that you can start thinking about cards that you would like to make and gift for the holiday season. So first, let's talk about the template for creating this gift box. So I actually received this template from Diane VanderGalien. She actually was a demonstrator in my group when I started back in 2011. And I've kept her little sheet, so this is her little sheet. But I'll walk you through how to create this gift box and certainly provide you with the measurements and instructions for creating it. So I am going to be using the Simply Scored scoring tool just to do all my scoring for this gift box. So I have my scoring board set up to reflect the different score lines that I need to add to this piece of cardstock. So this piece of cardstock, it's called Pretty Peacock, that's the color, and it's 8.5 by 11. So you want the 11-inch side up towards the top. And I have a couple markers here. I have a marker at 1 inch, 2 inches, 7 inches, and 8 inches. So the first score lines that we are going to create are going to be at the 1 inch mark. Then we're going to go over to the 7-inch mark, and then 8 inches. So those are the first 3 score lines. So now you're going to turn the cardstock so that the 8.5-inch side is up at the top and your 11-inch side is on the side here. And we're just going to focus on these 2 score lines. We're going to focus on the 1 inch and the 2 inch. So now we're going to score this at 1 and 2 inches, and we're going to do that on both sides of this cardstock piece. All right, so we have a 1 inch and a 2 inch line, and now I'm just going to turn this cardstock piece and do the exact same thing so that I have a 1 and 2 inch line on each side of this cardstock. Okay, so once you have all the score lines in, now you are ready to do some cutting. So basically what I'm going to be doing is cutting on these solid lines here that are on my template. So I'll just kind of walk you through that. So on the left side of my cardstock piece, I have just a 1 inch, wide score line here. So what I want to do is I want to cut up to the second score line that goes across. So I have 2 score lines here on the bottom. So I'm just cutting up to that second one. And then I'm just going to snip off this piece. Okay. And so I'm going to do the same thing on this other side. I'm just going to cut up to that second score line. And then I'm going to snip off this bottom piece. All right. So that is what we have on the one side. So you're just basically creating 2 little flaps on this side. And then on this side of the cardstock is where this flap is. So it's actually this front piece, this front panel of this box. So what we're going to do here is we have 2 score lines here. So we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to cut up to the 2 score lines, up to that second score line. And then we're going to do the same thing over here. We're going to cut right next to it and cut up to that second score line so that you have this flap here. And you're going to cut this bottom piece here and here off. So I'm just going to turn this. So we'll cut across. We'll cut that one off. And then we will cut this little piece off. And you're just going to cut right on the score line to cut the pieces off. All right, so that's the one side. And we're going to do the same thing on this other side. So we're just going to, in between these 2 score lines, we're just going to cut up to the second score line. Cut up here to the second score line. And then we're just going to cut these pieces off. Okay, so this is basically what this will look like. And you can see, I'm just going to put the pieces back so you can kind of see what I cut off. So I cut these 2 pieces off, and there was a score line in between there. And then I cut this little piece off the end. So basically, I just want to create some flaps here so that I can create the front panel for my box, and this is the inside of the box. So the next thing I want to do, just because it lays better, I want to take these little flaps and I just want to cut them on an angle a little bit. It'll just make it much easier for putting the box together. Because sometimes when these flaps are the same size as, you know, this piece here, these are 1 inch wide. If you don't angle them, it makes it just a little bit challenging to put it together. So just take a scissors and just kind of angle these sides a little bit. Just cut right up to the score line. And it'll just give you some nice flaps for putting the box together. Okay, so now you can see that I trimmed a lot of these little flaps right here. I trimmed all 4 of them on an angle so that they just tuck in nicely underneath these little flaps. So what I'm going to do is just fold on all these score lines. So just kind of crease all these score lines. This is the front flap for the box, so we're going to do that last, but we're going to put the main part of the box together. So let's just fold on all these score lines. So basically, these side panels here are 1 inch and 1 inch. So you have 2 inches here. And these are going to fold over the top of those little flaps, these little flaps that we created. So what I want to do is I want to add some tear and tape right on these little flaps. Not the little flaps, sorry. I want to add some tear and tape on this big flap here. And then I'm going to add some tear and tape on this other flap. And then basically what we're going to do is we're going to tuck these little pieces in, these little side flaps in, and I'm going to fold this larger one over the top. All right, so you end up with your one part of the box there. And then you can just push down on that tape to keep it secure. And then we're going to do the same thing on this side. Just peel off this backing. fold in the flaps, and then we're going to push this over the top. So that just creates the base of the box. So this is actually where the cards will fit. And then this little section is going to come over the top, and that creates that little decorative panel for your box. So I'll show you how to adhere this part. Basically, we're going to flip this over and we're going to put some tear and tape on these two flaps here. So we'll add a little bit down here. And then we'll flip this around and add it on the other side. So let's peel these off. All right, so once you have the tape added, basically you're just going to fold these in and you're just going to tuck this inside the box. And then that tape will just help hold it to the sides of the box. So just put your hand in there and just kind of push against the sides to secure the tape. And that's it. And then you can decorate this box any way that you want. So usually I add about 4 cards. You can add up to 6 cards, as I mentioned before, but 4 seems to be just a really good number. Everything just sits very nicely inside here, and you don't have things too tight inside the box. So that's really all there is to it, to putting this box together. Okay, so there you go. Now you have a fun gift box idea that you can use to package up any of your handmade cards. And if you enjoyed this gift box idea, feel free to download the template and the printable tutorial. You can find the link in the description below this video. Thanks so much for joining me today. If you enjoyed this video, please let me know by liking it and sharing it with your friends. And leave me a comment below to let me know what you enjoyed most about the video and the projects shared here today. Have a fun and creative day, my friends. Take care.